There's a quote that talks about how everything that we're going through right now is preparing us for what we asked for. And that's always like stuck out to me. And there's another quote that talks about how like what we have now is everything we once wanted, like, a reminder to be grateful. So I just wanted to take a moment to extend gratitude for my life and the ways that it's now what I wanted it to be, and or preparing me for what I asked for. I wanted to be able to be my own therapist. I wanted to be able to reclaim my life, reclaim my power. I wanted to be able to know my worth and stop settling for less. I wanted to be able to stick to my goals. I wanted to be able to love myself, not just on the good days, but all the time. I wanted to be able to achieve peace and contentment despite my circumstances. I wanted to reduce the pain that I was experiencing in my body and learn how to be in my body again. I wanted to only have healthy friendships and relationships that contribute to my healing journey. Now, all of these things have come to life and are part of my present reality. And it's beautiful. And it proves that things are possible. And so as I move forward, life may not be what I want it to be, but it's so much better than it was. And I have so much to be grateful for. And it's not about focusing on that out of obligation, but out of joy for life and passion for healing and a desire for peace and contentment. And the more we focus on gratitude, the more our blessings grow. I'm learning that's just the laws of the universe. And so, not just listing things to be grateful for, but actually feeling the emotions of gratitude. It's very powerful. And in the last few years, I've slowly increased my ability to stay grateful despite the pain and struggles. It started with doing the 100 days of happiness challenge. You post every day for 100 days something that like made you happy or whatever. I turned it into 100 days of gratitude, and so like my post just kind of drifted that way naturally. Instead of I'm happy about this, it was I'm grateful for this. And knowing that I had this thing to be grateful for made me happy. And so that started several years ago. And then when things got a lot worse, when I was homeless in Colorado, um, it deepened some more. And it's only continued to grow since then. But now that I'm like lucid and having a different experience of life with decreased dissociation, it's an interesting process of reestablishing that, because it's like I'm using different parts of my brain now, and so I have to like rebuild that neural pathway entirely. And so even though I've made all this progress over the years, some days it feels like I'm starting from scratch, and so it's quite a trip. But everything that I have now is stuff that I have wanted. I wanted quality friendships and nothing else. I wanted to not be wasting any of my time if it wasn't going towards something worthwhile. I wanted to be having adventures, and these might not be the adventures I had in mind, but they're much more meaningful. And my days are still filled with surprises. um, there's constant surprises. There's constant moments of spontaneous discoveries or emotions felt on a very extreme level, or you know learning something new with friends or whatever it might be. But they're very profound moments, and so I am having the adventurous experiences I have sought, just in a different manner in which they have ever than I've sought before. But it's much more long lasting. Like I can think back to moments before and feel a deep joy, not just a shallow happiness. It's a very different feeling. Um, And everything that I'm going through now is preparing me for everything else that I desire. I desire to make a big impact on this world. I desire to have the power to positively influence lives on a more consistent basis and a more personal basis. And I have to get to a place of higher stability and higher, more have myself healed more before I am in a position to do that. And so everything I'm doing now, it's preparing me for the life I want. I want to be independent. I want to be self-sufficient. I want to have extensive local relationships. Like I used to have, honestly, hundreds of local friends. It was mostly when Zena was fronting, of course. But even when I was around, I had dozens of friends. And we have a few, and I'm very grateful for them immensely. But having that wider spread network of local friends is definitely a desire. And to be able to live in a place I want to live, I'm very grateful for California. I love the mild weather right now, and to stay on my family's farm is beautiful. But I definitely will not stay in this area when I am living on my own again. So this is definitely a healing time, and who knows where things will go from here. And not knowing, I'm learning to, it's been a long journey, but I'm more effectively learning to allow the not knowing to excite me rather than just terrify and overwhelm me. I want to fall in love. I want to get married. I want to have a family of my own someday. I want to foster children. I want to be a public speaker. I want to do a lot of things. And all of that becomes possible with the healing I'm doing here and now. And reminding myself of that on a daily basis is what gets me through a lot. Because anytime I get focused on where I am now, I crash and burn immediately. I don't have the stamina to do the work I need to do. And then it sinks into depression and it becomes harder to even do the work I need to do, even if I wanted to. Focusing on where I want to go and how this is contributing to that is very important, because the work I'm doing now on its own, without reference to what I've survived and endured, and also the beautiful life I intend to build and create for myself, it just doesn't seem to be worth all the work I'm doing, but putting it in that perspective and letting my dream pull me instead of just pushing myself, it makes a really big difference.